Yeah, I don't know what just happened, but we got cut off. Yeah. So we're gonna keep it going anyways. Hope everybody's all right. Let me see if I get these headphones in there. Give everybody a chance. Come back. Yeah, they're always cutting me off. Something always go wrong with my shit. You know, information is more important than anything. So let me plug in. We're gonna keep it going. All right. Let's put this back up here. Well, we got light now, so it's all good. All right. What's good, bro? That little Nate 215. That's what it is. Thank you for tuning in, little Nate. Peace and blessings. I hope everything worked out good for you through this little pandemic, little scare, you know, and I hope we get a greater understanding of everything because that's what it is. Each one teach one. So I was trying to go out. Oh, hold on. I was trying to go outside to show y'all some stuff. Greetings, Priscilla. Yes, you know, I'm back. I'm back. You know, I was gone for a little while. Ancestor lessons. We're going to talk about some of those ancestor lessons too, because it's very important for us to understand why we saying these things, and you know what's the implications of saying this, and you know what is the point. You know, this is important for us to try to make sense out of because you was sent here for a purpose, and it's a game being played on you, a game being played on you by the spirit world, by the gods, and definitely by your government. So it's like even you're playing games on yourself and you don't know it. And I'm here to help you awaken, you know, and by you understanding this information and what's going on, you don't let the outside influences control the biochemistry of you and produce the chemicals that's going to give you these viruses and these downgrades, because this is just the start. You know, 2020 is going to be a rough year for us because we went through the cusp of it, the grace period, which was from 2012 to 2020. And it really ended in 2017 with another grace period from 2017 to 2020. Like the portal closed for ascension in 2017. But everybody had to learn their gifts and their abilities for the next 3 years. If you didn't learn it, that's when problems starts coming in. This is now this. It was setting up for these environmental changes. You could say more than I would say viruses in the air. So with this, if you didn't know this, because a lot of us is really city dwellers, we just go from vehicle to shelter, vehicle to shelter. We're not really in the environment to analyze it and study it, but the sun's pulsing has increased. It's also very, very more intense. It's very more hotter. A lot of places, droughts and drying out of things. You know, the average person who's not healthy, who's eating natural food, cannot withstand the sun, especially around the equator right now. It's very, very intense and strong. It's actually a purging out of what's inside of you that is taking place more than, you know, we're looking at it in any type of negative aspect. Only way the sun is going to have effect on you, if you don't know it, you know, biochemistry wise, your body, is if you have toxicity inside your body, unnatural foods, and you have what's called a weak, well, you don't have what you call antioxidants. You low on antioxidants or weak on antioxidants. This is the things that's going to help your immune system fight off these things. But this antioxidant that we're referring to for the top layer of the skin in reference to the sun actually making a biochemistry change will make the difference between browning in the sun, turning tan, or your skin changing in the sun, or you go in the sun no matter how hot it is and you still come back the same. When your skin burn or you get a suntan, you're toxic. You're not healthy on your. It's coming out through your pores, and the oils is actually being burnt into your skin, which peels off the skin. So you lack antioxidant. If you had antioxidant, you will have now what's called a strong magnetic field. So then when the sun pushes on you, your antioxidant pushes back on your magnetic field, which squeezes out the intoxicants, and it feels like cool sweat just rolling down your face, or you become oily. Your skin, you could take your sharp nail and go like that, and you scrape off oil or something. This is what the difference would make, and your skin will still retain its texture, its color, without being burnt. As a matter of fact, the more intense the sun gets, the cooler you should feel. You shouldn't feel heat. You should feel coolness. If you was to wet a rag or wet yourself and blow on you, no matter how hot it is, it's going to feel cool. So you have a magnetic field that you have to build up. It lacks if it's lacking antioxidants. Your basic antioxidants would be your onions, your garlics, mix it with honey is a great antioxidant. And there's lots of vegetables such as anything green will boost your antioxidants. I would advise you to blend them, get you a bullet or NutriBlender and take them out the grass. Go outside and pick up anything you see that's green and blend it. That's the realest thing you could do, chlorophyll. What's poisonous? If you want better, download an app for for identifying leaves and trees. You never know what's a herb that could heal you. Take a picture of it and see if it is. Put it in your NutriBlender and blend it and drink it. This is where you have to return back to putting that oil in your body, like I said. And if you don't oil your body, that's like the same as neglecting that and then believing that you having a suntan and that's sexy. No, you're toxic and burn. You can't come to me with a suntan and think I will appreciate the look of it. I look at that as nasty and disgusting. You're toxified and you need cleaning. So push the word around because we in the West or the American, we believe suntan is cool. That shows what's inside your body, and that's a toxic body. We have a very old suntan. Yeah, it's very old, Priscilla. So, being that we don't spend time in the magnetic field, and we are a magnetic field, we live in the electromagnetic field. We're lacking the nutrients that sustain life. We believe food sustain life. If food don't sustain life, food sustain your mind. That's all it sustain. What sustain life is the prana. Prana separates into four different breathing pranas that goes to different parts of your body to sustain your organs. Your organs give you this ethereal energy, which turns to auric energy, as we spoke about in previous videos. They give you life. So your eating is more mental than anything. And even to think you could use a herb to heal you, that's more mental. You don't know what's wrong with you inside. When you heal, you don't heal an organ, you don't heal a liver. You heal the person's exterior magnetic field, and the whole body heals. And that's what science make a mistake. They try to treat a certain part of the body, and in doing so, they don't heal the whole body. So with ascension, with learning to be a higher being, learning you're a dragon, learning to be an angel, what's the purpose of learning all this stuff? The purpose is to learn you're a healer. You have the power to heal. To see into the parallel world, it gives you energy of matter and antimatter, which are made of the right side and the left side, the hot and cold. When you was to take these and put them into one, it will disrupt air. It will disrupt this magnetic field, and you will see everything wave. And that's what you are, hot and cold, blue and red or blue and yellow, whichever colors you want to use. It's actually the polarities that's in nature. It's in everything. It's in crystals. Crystals give off the same thing, one side and one polarity, and the other is another. So one of the first things you learn in ascension is the magnetic field and how to use it to heal yourself, to self-heal. And so what the ancestors like to do is they like to put a disease on you, to test you, to see what you're going to do, to see if you're one of them. If you're one of them, you will take the challenge on and you will start your journey to becoming a shaman. The first level of shamanism is learning how to go inside yourself and to heal yourself. It starts off as first as schizophrenia or mental disorder, but it's a calling from the other side for you to come and heal yourself. So you will first have to learn, not from reading books, philosophy, or actually, trying to heal your sister or brother. You learn first from healing yourself. All of us right now need healing, but we don't know that we're sick. So we think we're normal until we come into a situation that shows us our abnormalities, and then you will start your journey to your self-healing. Once you learn how to self-heal, you can heal somebody else. But if you don't know how to heal yourself, you wouldn't understand what I'm talking about, and you wouldn't know what to do more than what the pharmaceutical company tell you or what your medical education taught you. And so this is the difference between shaman healers, witch doctors, and natural healers compared to those that went to school and got a philosophy or a degree. They have to work off of what they know as facts, where the shaman work off of his intuition that leads him into the weirder situation, the weirder circumstances to come up with solutions to psychological, mental, and biological disorders within who they're helping. Sometimes it makes them get herbs. Sometimes it makes them just dance in a weird dance and make them do a figure eight for an hour. And these is what the ancestors call for them to do to heal that person, because everybody we don't know is made up of spirits. You're made up of millions upon spirits calcified on top of each other. It's like brine, salt brines keep coming together. Every frequency you go through, every dimension of this 12 that we spoke about, of the zodiac, you wear all of them as animals, which it becomes what's called the cosmic man, the bigger man than what you see. You just see the biological flesh, which is the anchor. And they try to teach you not to get caught into this world of the anchoring world where you believe in your body, because that's not what's making everything happen. These only come into existence when certain things like the coronavirus and you don't see a church person here to represent you. You don't see nobody with the faith no more, because everybody was superficial and following what those paperwork says and the doctrine says, but never experienced it for theirself. If you never experienced it for yourself, of course you're going to run and shut up now, because it's the real thing. And we're in the real thing right now. And so it's only those that know what's going on can guide and lead in a proper way and help people, because not everybody is set for this. This is for ignorant people who've been running the world from the beginning, who think power and domination, making a person subject to them, making a person work and do things for money. The system that was invented was not part of the plan. This became a way to support one rich family. And this family kept growing till they owned the world as a conglomerate, came and colonized the world. Then after they colonized it, they gave them independence, which was a scam, a Ponzi scam, because they still have to pay taxes to the country. But now the queen and this so-called king is not responsible for the liabilities of the country. So they set up conglomerate corporations that we call states, countries, even continents, and then give the people of land and then make them put in their own insurgents and say, hey, we're going to war for our own independence. Make the people fight against each other. And whoever wins, say, hey, now y'all is independent. Now pay me. So you get set up with this so-called independence. Independence is not good. It's a hustle. And everybody fell for the hustle because all countries is doing bad now. If they was under the king and queen, you could just go to them. And I'm not referring to the countries that's still under the king and queen, such as the United States. You know, they're being taken care of. That's why you have a social security number in your franchise, like a basketball player. So everything is given to you. You can't be homeless. You can't be without. They're gonna make sure they take care of you, because you're the credit of the nation, and that's the queen. So now, for us to actually understand the gods and to fix ourselves of these resonance that's going to make us contract diseases, because if you don't know, the gods is recorded in history as diseases. You know, I just want you to understand that when you become yourself, you become subatomic, microatomic, beyond quantum small. You're beyond that level. So when we talk in these germs, these bacteria, you become to these levels when you actually go into meditation. You know, they say you turn into like the adamant. You feel like you're shrinking in your body. So you have to understand these is worlds. These ain't just thing coming to get your biological body. You're more than the biological body, and you control the health of the biological body with an opposing force here to destroy your health, not to destroy you, but to make you see higher than what you're seeing right now, a bigger picture than what you're seeing right now. This so-called system we're under, where it's just go to work and come home, have kids and go to church and go to school, is not what you was here to put to be. You're going against your nature, so nature attacks it. It attacks it to bring you back to your true self. You're a sovereign human being. Every human being is sovereign within themselves. That means they're their own king and queen, not king and queen together. If you're a man, you're a king. If you're a woman, you're a queen. This is the same title, same position. Nobody's higher than none because they're both sovereign. Self, self. That's what it means. When they came together, they had estates and they built off of a foundation of who has more now and what they're bringing together to compound a bigger conglomerate. We lost those type of things and we just chase desires, pleasures, love, lust, and these things where we become servants to the government, consumers, and they make money off of our consumption. They make these epidemics that make them, the water company just sold out. The tissue company just sold out. We didn't need none of this stuff. We do this because we're scared. And this is the whole trick to it. Once you realize you can make people do what you want, you could fake whatever else you want. You understand? And this is what's going on. We ourselves are childish in our mentality. Our mentality is designed by the government. And how is it designed that the world be dumbed down to children level? The basic society is designed for people between 13 and 25. After that, when you get up in your 30s, you're a worker in the background. You don't exist no more. People in their 40s don't exist no more. 50s don't exist no more. 60s on, you're dead. There's not even good health for those people anymore. So you're looking at a system that's, hey Bobby, how you doing? And you know, even your talk, your way you carry yourself is childish in comparison to you who you are as an individual. If you was to think for yourself, you become what's called a society meme. When you go in these directions, your health declines because you're in a state of what's called vampirism. Because everybody's a society meme, you have to feed off of the other person. It's a vampirism that is going on to keep the society at a meme. It's not natural for an individual to act as a group person. So when you act as a group person, you have to get the latest information. Am I correct? Do we watch a lot of YouTube? Are we out to seek information? That's to fit to the society meme. Once you fit to the society meme, you're not yourself as the individual who could catch individual download because you have your own unique DNA channel that they're going to come on and give you intuitions that's going to not coincide with today. It's going to look strange to the people of today because they're preparing you for tomorrow, for something you're going to bring into the society. You know, you see it all the time, but we just don't catch it. Such as with breakdancing and when hip hop came out and DJing and scratching, it led it to a whole difference in music, difference in economics, difference to where they look at human beings as far as, you know, racism was concerned. So this brought in a whole different circumference, but it was in the persons fighting for their individuality, fighting for the uniqueness of what their consciousness is telling them and not to be like everybody else. So you have to pay attention to these things as you're in what we call nature now. We're under the governance of nature. You know, the government telling us to isolate ourselves is not no big conspiracy because it was something that was told by everybody in the 2012 ascension. You had to go to isolation. So they're trying to help people now. If you don't go into isolation, nature's going to kill you. because your vibratory frequency is off from nature, from the vibration of the sun, from the vibration of the universe. A lot of us are still roaming in mentality. Oh, the gods is not real. Oh, this is not true. But they don't know nature. They listen to the government. The government tell them we locked out of NASA with space because space is where everything is happening from. They actually cultivating these viruses in space because they can't do it on Earth. It's being compromised by the nature. So you got to realize what's going on. Then take into account why no one is on the moon. Why is nobody on the moon? We don't know about entities. We don't know about invisible beings. We don't know about thought forms. We don't know about the dragon. We don't know what lightning is. We don't know what thunder is. We don't know what electricity is. We don't know what energy is. We use these terms superficially, but don't know what they are and who we are in reference to them. That's why we're being attacked with it. So let's look into some of this and get a good understanding to make it seem like, I want you to see the weirdness in this. Hold on. This I was just looking at something by Paracelsus that he wrote in reference to the dragon. Let me see if I could pull it up again. And the thing about it is like we don't realize our connection to these beings, these other us, that it influences nature to cause diseases and sicknesses, which is not diseases or sicknesses or viruses. It's you out of your vibratory frequency of what you're supposed to be. It's you eating the wrong foods. So when these new diseases come, or these new upgrades, as they're really called, that you be able to have your transformation. We become subject to this stuff, and they wind up tearing us up with the government making the money that it needs to by having the medication for your fuck up because you didn't prepare yourself. You wasn't eating right. So those would be the most important reason why you would want to learn this. So I don't see this thing that I'm looking for right at this second, so I'm not going to try to stick too much to it. Let me just look one more quick time because there's so much stuff to show y'all. All right. The last thing I was telling y'all is to start taking natural herbs. I wouldn't encourage anybody to smoke marijuana, but I would tell you buy weed and make a tea with it and drink the tea. Right now, cannabis and coronavirus go hand in hand. They're partners. That will definitely put that subject to not mess with your body or to come on to you. Just boil some water and drop the weed in it and let it turn green. And then from there, you could just throw it on the bullet and blend it all up and make a drink with it, really, and put it in. If you're not a smoker, it can't mess up your lungs or whatever the case may be. But that will help you right now. You have things that is thing like called the Spanish needle. It's locally everywhere. Let me see if I could play this to let y'all see the Spanish needle because it helps.
Spanish needle, scientifically known as Bidens pilosa, is a species of flowering plant belonging to the Asteraceae family, native to the Americas. This plant is considered a medicinal herb and has many health benefits. Spanish needles have been used in traditional medicine for infections from wounds, upper respiratory tract infections like colds and flu, urinary tract infections, as well as venereal diseases. The leaves, seeds and roots of Spanish needles have also been reported to possess antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, anti-malarial, diuretic, as well as hypotensive properties. The annual plant grows to about 2 meters in height and grows aggressively, oftentimes becoming weedy. The Spanish needle's leaves are oppositely arranged and the plant may flower at any time of the year. The plant grows freely in Jamaica and is also...
So you see, it's a lot of different stuff out here that you could actually throw in your blender to get your body upright. That's what really it's about first. Once you feel comfortable and get the scare out of you, remember epigenetics. You know what I'm saying? Your body is different. It don't work like how you think, and what you think have control over your body. All right, so now let me go into some of the sacred doctrines of our ancestors in the spiritual world, and let y'all get a good understanding of what's going on with Asar, And what is this Asar or Osiris, return? Because this is the return of the Titans, and we don't realize it that this is the end of one millennia, and we back into a new millennia. If you didn't know it, now it's time for a new nation to rise, and another nation is going to fall, and nature is going to make the call on that, and we're going to be all victims of it if we don't understand what is going on. And so a lot of us is hybrids in our nature. We're not the pure strand, and it's not nothing wrong with being either strand, but the difference is going to be in how we in our DNA interpret the diseases or sicknesses or even information that we're getting. With the hybrid, more inclined to understand the spirit world because they're a mix, just like in the movie with the Lycanthropy or whatever you call it, half werewolf, half vampire. So it's the mixed one that's going to be able to take it to the next level. The older people is called the gods. They're the gods, the old gods. And they want to keep their old ways, and they want the traditional ways of doing it. The young kids is called the titans. They're the ones that's bringing out these diseases now. They're in all the kids, I could say up to 35, 37 and under. They're the titans, they're the wild ones. And so they don't know who they are. So all this information is also tied into us. All this that is happening in the earth chakra, everything is tied into one big element that is working towards one thing, which is evolving humanity, but we don't know who we are. So to give you a good understanding now, all right, the old people is the gods, right? Every generation, you notice, the young kids know more than the old people. The old people don't know nothing. You understand? They know what they knew, and then after around 30, they capped off where they listening to old music like this song playing right now. Listen. See, they go back to that and they stay there. And so when new music come in, new philosophy, new anything, they block it. That's why they call them the old gods. The young now is the new gods. They're the ones that's going to be the old gods in the future. But the young dictates the frequency now. The light stays on them for until they hit that age group. So you will want to learn from the young. That's my point. And even if you're the young, you're the teacher of the old. The old can't teach you. They're out. They was overtaught. They're programmed now. And so it's up to you to understand them. Don't war with them. Help them out to make them see your point of view, because your point of view is the right point of view, because it's the future. They're on their way out. You're fixing all the problems they created, such as feeding us bad food, believing in this government. Go with your intuition now, and we're more in line with the stars. All right, the gods, the king, the adults and the kids and the babies, they're the stars. The stars is the gods, but they're also personified in us through our genetics, through our melanin, through our reflectiveness. Like these would be them. A bunch of them together make up an anamorphic being, or just a cloud that you see. One cloud formed like a rabbit, but it's made up out of trillions of sub little animals inside of it that you see. So that's who you are, with the influence of them being controlled over you by what zone are you at in the 12 zodiac, during what time of the day, during what hour. You have algorithm going now at night and day, and hot and cold playing on this. So you got a lot of different algorithms playing on your biophysiology to make your experience what it is. It's not just something that is just you thinking or whatever it is. So in basics, you will get, like, in 1 year 360 degrees, which we divide into the 12. It's all the same. So in it now, you'll notice you have the 4 seasons. The 4 seasons are hot, cold, dry, wet. They're part of one system. They're inside you, your body. Everything is the same. So when we go through the 4 seasons, before, back in the days, this was called the 4 yugas. It wasn't no 10,000 years of golden age, or 5,000 years the silver age and the bronze age. The golden age is summertime. The bronze age is autumn. Wintertime would be the lowest ones, the silver. So these is what was done in a yearly cycle, and that was what the 4 cycles of the yugas is. It's really a year. It's not what they determine in the Sanskrit Vedas. So when you're talking yugas, like to a wise man or sage or educated, he knows it's just the 4 seasons, really. Those is your Bronze Age, Silver Age, Gold Age, and everything, which each one being on the sun. So now you get to learn that the zodiac play a part as far as now the story of Jesus and his whole, from birth to death on the cross is the same rotation of the sun around the 12 circles. You got to understand that plays on your psychology. Now, it can't be a person named Jesus because J was invented in 1750 something. The J was put into the alphabet in the 17th century. So what was his name prior to the J? And it couldn't have been Y. Y was born into it during the Persian era. Persians made up Y. So before that, it wasn't here. So the dude's name can't be Jesus, and it's none of that stuff that we see in the Bible is true because there was no J. Get that straight. That's recent. Now, when we're talking about Serapis, that's when you're talking about what they personify. This is through the Jews. The Jews wanted to make up their own gods from the Egyptians separate because you had Upper Egypt, which is called Ethiopia, and then where we see Egypt at, that's Lower Egypt. This is more of the lower people, or what was called the Hebrews back then. So they was trying to make up their own God, their own religion. So they created Yahweh. It was this, we're going to use for now Moses to keep the story. But back then, you can't say Moses too, because if you even go back to Islamic, it would have been Musa. And so you go through culture name. We're not using culture name here. What we're going to use is the Akashic records of the earth of what took place as far as seeing. So somebody that they equated to the name Moses, which would have been an English version of a Musa, and then go back to the culture would have been even something else when we get to Egyptian, because this is when it took place. They created now in Lower Egypt a higher God. What's this higher God? We was only back then worshiping deities, local deities, the things that you saw, like some saw the Anubis or Anub. So you had people who saw like Baal. You had people who see different beings. The ones you see in Egypt as animals is the gods, because that was their first personifications at that time when gods was able to come down to earth. The first thing they took on was animals and started fighting and killing each other. So they are the gods, but as we came into the picture, they became us too. So now let me explain to you how this falls into place. So being that we that see the gods as the animal form, we get to see nature, the nature spirits. So when the Egyptians are showing you these animal looking gods with human body, they're showing you the spirits in the clouds. They're showing you what controls nature, which is also called the dragon on a whole, because they're inside considered air, and air itself is the whole dragon system. So all of us that is in the air, we have particles in this light that we see. In reality, as above, so below, it's also your semen. Your semen will equal the air, your semen. In your semen, you have mad particles of what makes babies. That's what's in the air, same thing. You pick up semen into your eyes, you get these floaters, these little prickly things that they call parasites, all in your eyes. All of this is part of one system. You understand what I'm saying? You must understand this for you to be able to withstand these things. All right, so I don't want to get too thrown off or miss my point, what I'm saying here. Now, with this now, you have Serapis, right, which is called the universal soul. Serapis would be what we call Jesus, with the Egyptians they found them in Egypt underneath tombs, this picture. So you got one of this bearded looking man, and you got a second one now. His name is Osiris, Asar. Handsome black guy with that little cone thing on his head. Go back from the beginning of, like around the time of what's called the Hyperborean period. These people don't come from Egypt. Egypt is personifying it to their culture. which is not Egyptian culture today. This is what we call Hebrew culture. Hebrew culture is what we see as Egyptian culture. Egypt got conquered by the Persians that destroyed Egypt information, which would have been called demonology. Demonology is what we call today astrology. Astrology is demonology because look at the animals in the zodiac. Look at what they're looking at. It's the same thing the Egyptians worshipped. Egyptians only saw those. This is where you have different genetics. Your genetics will make you look at the cloud and you'll see a duck and you will see a lion and you will see a god and you will see this. You have different genetics that recognize different things in abstract views. So you have people that make you look, in psychologists will tell you, look at an abstract picture, what do you see? But he'll show it to somebody else and say, what do you see? And everybody sees different things, but he can know where you're from and what is going on by how many times people done told him this and people told him that. You could categorize people into different dimensions of where you come from. But the true seer sees all of those things. We one-dimensional as far as, those, you're going to see this, I'm going to see that. But there's people that it runs concurrently, all of them. They see everything like flashes real quick. It just flashes like this. So that's what the clouds do to your memory. And give you hieroglyphs, something to stare at, and you remember everything and connect back your neurons. So when you would stare at pictures, stare at clouds, a flash will come like over your eyes. It's like if you was to stare and then close your eyes quick, you see the image still in your eyes. That type of flash. Now imagine it switching fast. When you're staring, it feel like you're going to get a headache. You start seeing little light particles coming out your eyes. Little, like if somebody punched you and you see the little white things that's in cartoon, you could push your eyes, look and stare and push out. You're going to see white particles start just flying out your eyes. They come and go out your eyes. They come in and out all the time. That's when you say you see the light go like that. Well, you could control them going in and out by pushing out with your eyes and looking in the air. All these is afforded to you to heal yourself. Your eyes is attached to every neuron in your body. Only thing is your eyes is everything. And so you can heal yourself through your eyes. That's why you see the one eye in the pyramid, because it's the actual truth of who you are. It's the third eye, which connects to this invisible system we're talking about, the nervous system, which we call ASAR and those. So you have to understand these to understand more of yourself when we're talking the healer. It's magnetic healing, learning the magnetic field. Because for you to learn the magnetic field, you have to see it. You can't imagine it. You won't be able to philosophize on it. This is something you have to become acquainted with and get used to. And how this usually happens is when a person activates, he become an empath at first, meaning he first loved light. He loved to stare into the light. Anything shiny, he'll stare at it for hours, just stare at it. But all that is doing is how the ancestors actually burn the hole in your eye, or burn your eye to actually capture things. You capture things. After a while of staring, you'll be able to admire a tree. Then close your eyes and you see the tree, the silhouette of the tree in your eyes. And now sit there and stare at the silhouette of the tree. And everything come to life. Everything come to life. It's subatomic particles that you're observing now. The law of observation coming. And so these things always has been alive, and that's what control everything. They show you what is on your mind, what's your intentions. And so you would think, tree, I wanted to know where it come from and this. And then it change on you. Inside that little silhouette will change and take you into world. You have the ability to do that. And this is what your third eye do. You don't see with these two eyes. These two eyes will deceive you. It's the third eye that take the two eyes and make common sense of it up here, and the mind now projects the image. So with that now, you understand Serapis is one half side of you, and then you have the beast, or what we call, I just said his name again, I keep forgetting. You know, my ancestors do not want to disclose nothing about them. That's what's been making this take so long and so hard to do. You know, when it comes to Egypt, everything is sacred. But back to what I was saying, because that name, he always gets out of my head for a second. But those two together is the two that's wrestling, that you always see the beast and the God. That's your right and left side that's in you. But what they're trying to get is your attention, you to focus so you can get out. If you never fix this, you're going to keep reincarnating. You're going to keep reincarnating. Simple as that. So right now, though, like I said, we just finished a whole zodiac turn of the 12. When we're starting off now and we're in this new different frequency, our atomic structure have to change to match it. It also have to do with your mind. So you're going to notice a lot of people is now becoming independent, do everything for themselves. A lot of self businesses that come in. Not too many people is so much into relationship but still dating and having sex, but not without the bondage. Everybody's becoming more independent of their self. With that, their ability to do alchemy onto themselves is achieved in this generation. Before, two people together stop alchemy. Alchemy can only be performed when you're by yourself or have that self thought, because you need your spirit inside of you. Remember, I tell you, whenever you desire, that's where your spirit goes. So you can't do alchemy without your spirit. I mean, your soul, not your spirit, your soul. You can't do alchemy without your soul. So your soul have to come back inside you. So by you being into yourself, you claim back your soul, and then your soul don't have nothing to do out there. Start doing everything internally. Now you got to understand, inside of you, you have the ability to see outside what's going on in the environment. If you wanted to actually go and see what your mother is doing, you don't go get up and walk to her house. You close your eyes and go internally, and you will pop up in her house. If you want to pop up outside your room outside, you will close your eyes and you'll pop up outside. That's why they were showing you on radars of UFOs going by in Mexico. The whole bunch was people meditating. You get picked up on radar when you go internally. Your ghost body or your astral body is around here floating. So in this frequency you're in, you're going to see more. Like the astral world is bombarded with people, entities, beings now. When I was in there back 3 years ago, it's empty. Nothing really. You could fly around all the time. But now it's a shopping mall. It's full with so many people done ascended. Mad white people is up there now. When it was up there, it was only blacks. But now it's full of white people up there now. And so it's like you get to see it's a lot of changes going on. And they're going to be more effective in making matter do things for them. And so you got to learn to that side of yourself. You understand what I'm saying? If you don't know that side of yourself, it's going to be working and you might think it's something else. You might think it's the government attacking you when it's your higher self or your other self. So just for you to understand these frequencies exist, you must first. Then let me go into breaking down the past. Some of this is good and some of it is bad, but it's all part of the truth. I was telling y'all about first colonization, and the effects of colonization was terrible. It's actually, colonization don't take on the term that we think. It was a turning point for all human indigenous people of the earth, where they mixed the genetics and killed off everyone who wasn't up for certain genetics and only let the mixed genetics live. And that's the only thing that populates the planet now, is a colonized genetic. It's now original genetic close to being here anymore. And so it's like so much to it. The Laws of Hybridity is the best book I could tell you in reference to this information, because the spirit world show you it. You see it in the Akashic records. But if you want the data to support it, you will see it. And it tells you America was going to have a big problem in the future because of they doing these colonization, which was this thing called eugenics. Eugenics, if you look it up in Google, tell you was to purify the earth. And this is the Puritans and all of them who went around raping everybody to put their genes in them, then kill off everybody else. These was what the books is about that I have on the subject matter. But without going too much into details about it, I'm going to read, I got 1 and 2 page. All right. And you get an understanding of what's to come including sterilization, because they were saying we wasn't supposed to mix really and actually leave our birth continent where we was birthed at, where you actually come from, or place of where you originated. They said once you left that, it's a mutation is going to occur. So they've been studying this since the 1800s. They've been doing this. But as far as our molecular biology, they've been studying that and tracking out the DNA since like the early 1920s and 1930s. And it was first called molecular biology, which then became eugenics, or this other name that they used, which was studying one group of people and using it to actually create things. This has went all the way down into the New England medical journals, North Carolina medical journals, like actually dead slaves that they opened up their body and did them little experiments on them to find out, even though their body was dead, they still had living things inside of them that was alive, that would never die. They call them monads. And another name that I'm gonna pull up the article so you can see. And these things started giving them an idea of some type of gods or some type of beings that exist beyond life, that they can't die, and they know this. This is all written in, like I said, the North Carolina Journal, doing autopsies on bodies. And so once you learn this, you learn there's like a set of people here that is different from the rest of the people. And these people is mostly being attacked, and they're having what's called um, schizophrenia, mental issues. Anyone that has any type of mental disease is a part of this family. I would say just about every indigenous person, because we have it inside of us, and it's a fight right now for who or what side we're going to be on, with one being just a liberal-minded person that is just following government, trying to be a family person, and then the free-spirited you that is trying to redeem itself, to evolve. So you got two spirits inside of you warring for your own soul or your own self. So you got to understand these things. All right, so let me take it back, because we still don't see between, it's called, the book you want to read is called The Phenomenon of Hybridity, to understand what took place in colonization, because it breaks it down to you more. All right, now once you could understand those things, you'll be able to understand these higher things that I'm explaining to you. All right, now what we call, all right, the indigenous people, the indigos, the Egyptians with the Uraeus on their head, the Kundalini, were special type of people. They wasn't just regular people. Look, LZ, what's going on? Raphael is my birth chart. Rael. Okay. Yes, it's good. You have to pay attention to your birth charts nowadays. The reason why is because it controls our destiny and our emotions, and the stories from what I was saying, when we talking about the Virgin, or let's say Medusa and those beings, you talking about the actual rising and setting of the sun in the, like say, Virgo constellation. So when Virgo come down, you got the Perseus constellation, Perseus holding up the sword with Medusa head. So you have to understand this meaning when they're talking about John the Baptist as he descends, and Jesus ascends. It's the same thing. That's the sun and the moon. One is the sun, one is the moon. And so both of them is just talk about you, your biophysiology, how you work. The same thing with the tarot cards. You're a whole bunch of these different beings that is controlled by spheres. These spheres is the zodiac spheres. So you will understand yourself more by learning the houses you're in. What house are you in today? You stay in a house for 7 days. You're only in your house for the first 7 days of your zodiac month. And then for the next 7 days, you're in two other houses, one that's going to agree with your house and the next one that's going to be opposing your house. So you're going to be in different moods. It's going to be a time to make decisions and a time not to make decisions. Some of us was born at night, so we're more nocturnal, and we have to know we make our decisions at night, not in the daytime. And those people who are born in the day, they make their decisions in the daytime. Now, in the daytime, you have the day god is different from the night gods. The day gods work on the front side of you. This is why you see in the front everything is pleasurable, but they work on health. Day gods do health, and you got night gods that do actually just give you lessons. This is where it gets sexual, deep, your fears, intuition. You have people who do music at night, write rhymes, do everything at night. This is where your creativeness come in. They both play a part on the whole you, who you are. So if you don't know these things about yourself, you're going to be subject to believe you're this American citizen and I'm a human being. And then when Cornelius virus hits you, you're going to run to the closest shaman. You have to know these things now. You can't wait for something terrible to hit you. So this is very important information for all people that's indigenous of the earth. It's not something that's foreign to anybody. So on that note, it's like there's more to us that we have to learn, and for us to learn it, it's gonna take time. You will first have to understand that you're more in line with a demion, an angel, a demon, a serpent, a dragon. This is where the world is headed in the direction. We know what happened with aliens. That was just a government myth. This is where you're headed now because this is the truth of who you are. And a lot of us is going to be transforming, going through different frequencies of ourselves and coming to these self-realization, going to start having premonitions, seeing things. All of these is going to be afforded to a lot of people now, but they don't know that this is going to be happening and think they're just, homeboy from the block and nothing is going to happen. And then when they get sick because they didn't know you're a Afri, your original being, and you under some type of covenant and you have to do these things, you're going to get taken out. You're going to see yourself messed up. You're going to get caught up in this whole plan because your government is not trying to help you. The government is using this upgrade to make money. They're telling you to stay home. They're telling you they're going to pay you. This is because they're getting a fat check from the federal government by making a big paper trail behind this. So they don't care really about what's going on. They're caring more about the businesses so that shit could open up and keep going. But by them declaring this is fucked up, they get big checks, big government funding to just make money for themselves. How they do that? You look at programs like ICE, FEMA, Homeland Security, and this new one, CPS or whatever. All these companies, what do they do after the drama is over? They have to fuck with the citizens to keep the government funding going. They have to make up false alarms to keep everything going. Just like when FEMA came out was when the 9/11 shit happened, but it's still in existence today. It went from messing with deporting people and a whole bunch of other shit to messing with the citizens now because they have to keep the funding going. You understand what I'm saying? So when you're talking about a new organization such as CPA coming into existence, what is CPA going to be doing after this coronavirus is over? That's what you need to know because that's when they fuck with the citizens. They make laws and implement them on you that have to keep them laws going. So they're always going to create a situation or keep the government under this new order that we're under now just to keep these new subdivision companies afloat, and they're getting government funds from it by making a big paper trail by saying it's an epidemic, it's a big pandemic. It's just a paper trail that give them the authority to make orders, executive orders that put us in a better position. So you got to realize what's the purpose of them putting it on CNN. Why is they throwing it up in the media like this? You're seeing they're getting funded for it. You get a couple dollars in your pocket while this is going on, but you lose your freedom when it's all said and done, when it's over. That's all that's going to happen. So I just want you to understand why you got to eat healthy and why you got to learn who you are as an angel or being a demon. All of these is more in line with who you are, because over this frequency of the Aquarian age, you're going to be turning spiritually. This is more spiritual. And so these counter things that they're doing to counter your spirituality are going to make you run from being the Lion King back under their wing and they're going to administer all types of drugs to you, vaccinations to you. The more vaccination they give you, the more antibiotics you're going to die on your body, more microbes is going to die and subject you to diseases. So you're going to keep being subject to the gods. This is a big game. That's it. I put you on, eat all the vegetables or get all your herbs and start fueling yourself up. Don't wait till you get sick to do it. Do it now. That's it, and pretty much everything else you have to just give everything some time. I hope y'all get a good understanding of what's going on. Um, Let me see. I want to get a little controversial with it because we miss a lot of the point. I'm gonna take it back a little to this lesson. One minute, y'all. Alright. Alright. A lot of us, right, is actually shamans and healers, and we don't know what to do with our abilities. And the thing that we have to learn is that we all have to hear now. If you don't use your abilities to heal and to help and to do something, it's going to turn into something else. So the greatest thing you could learn is what I just said. Your ability, your anxiety. If you're not going by the beach, if you're not in nature, catching some of the air, you're going to actually put yourself in a situation where your own self is going to turn against you. Your own mind is going to turn against you because in reality, like I said, you're a healer. And so if you don't learn the magnetics and how to use your healing abilities, how to do pushes, how to see the ancestors, eventually over time, things is going to start affecting you in a most profound way. You're going to see those abilities. Now, an archon. I wanted to just show you some stuff. I'm going to just run off some of this. This is like little terms, an archon. And you said, what is an archon and why is it, written? And it says an archon in the Gnostic or late antiquity was any several servants of the demiurge, the creator god of the that stood between the human race and the transcendent God that can only be reached through gnosis. Well, the reason why this is important is because everything is still here. It's still that same system. When we look at this word archetype, you see this word, you got this word archetype right here. Let me see if you see it, archetype. Archetype, now say a primitive mental image inherited from the earliest human ancestors and supposed to be present in the collective unconscious. So you have a collective unconscious. You're a part of the collective unconscious. When I say tap into the Akashic records, you're tapping into the collective unconscious. And so you realize that you have archetypes. You're made up of what's called archetypes. These are your different parts that you see of yourself. And so to learn these, you will have to understand there's a demiurge that is trying to stop you from seeing these things. And it's in you. It's not outside of you. Now, I told y'all the lesson of what the Afrit is, and it's a word that was used by the Mohammedans, it was used by the Islamic and the Chaldean, and it became what they call Africans today, or Afrit, Afrit. Google that word, Afri, Afri. All of these is the same thing, and it comes back, if you look at it right here, Afri. It tells you a powerful evil spirit in Mohammedan mythology. Now, I'm going to just go to another version of it. Let's look at Afrit. This one is Afrit, right? It says the definition of an Afrit is an Arabian mythological character that is evil or demonic and has supernatural powers. When I started researching this stuff, it's like everything in our reality makes perfect sense. And here it comes again, AFRI. I want you to see it right here as I pull it up, and I'm going to read this one, AFRI, right here. This is where you get Afri, and then you got Ka. Ka means a group of them. So it says the origin of Afra may either come from the Phoenician Afar dust or the Afri Afri, a tribe, possibly Berber, who dwelt in North Africa in the Carthage area. The Greek word aprik, meaning without cold, or the Latin word aprica, meaning sunny. All right, so I just want you to understand what we're called is not normal. Afri- Afri- African is not normal. It's not something to say you're proud of in the sense of it says that you're a demon, you're this, you're that. Because if you look, the Europeans took over from the Islamic people. They didn't take it from the Africans long time ago. The Islamic people took it from the Greeks and the Romans and the Egyptians. So they know what they experienced. So why would they name it Afri? Why we call Africans? And then Arawar. These words is like demonic words. You know that? I hope y'all know that. Same thing as Saxon. Saxon, what is Saxon? Take the X's and put them up straight. You got Satan. So all of this, you have to understand what's going on here. We're being played upon in ways that we don't understand who we are, and they know who we are. So I just wanted you to get an idea of what is going on and why is everything the way it is. Why they have hidden things. Why they're attacking us. Why they're messing with the weather. Why they're doing this to us with these diseases. This is deeper than you think. So, wake up to these things. Go research them for yourself. And you will come up with your own conclusion. But these is to point you in the direction that we're one group of people, and then there's another group of people, and there's a whole bunch of people that's being misguided, Lion King to death. You're Lion King, and meaning you're being told something that's not true. And I'm saying everybody, I don't care what race you are, what color you're being told something that's not true. And you need to know the truth. Once you know the truth, then you could do something about it. So that's my little thing I wanted to bring to your attention. Aside from that, I'm back on. What's good on the Androchrome? What's up, Cam? In San Rafael, California. Lucky Sovereign. Good to hear from you. What's the demiurge the Gnostic wrote about? Okay, Carlton Rand. The demiurge. They said the demiurge. When you're saying the demiurge, the word just means, as I pull it up, I do have the definition, and it's going to tell you the creator. The demiurge means creator or artisan. And it would have been first artisan because that word creator is an English word. So demiurge translates to artisan. Artisan translates to English to creator. Demiurge, creator, artisan is actually the person that is in charge, what we call the world soul, that is here, that is the one making all the animation. So our demiurge for this dimension, or world soul for this dimension, is this one we call Jesus. Like I told you, the J wasn't invented, so his name would have been Serapis. Jesus would have been also called Zeus. Z-U-S-E. Just take the J now and put it where the Z is at, and you still got Jesus or Dios. D-E-U-S. What it would have been in Latin. So if you were Latin, Latin is African. African is Latin. And so they would have been saying Dios. His other name is Jupiter. Y-O-U, Peter. So he's also known also as Jupiter when it goes to Ethiopia. That's what they call Abyss. Abyssania was called Jupiter. That's where we get it from when they come later on and put it into our language. The Greeks and the Romans actually kept it in its pure sense. The Elad is about the African gods, the African system. So is early Catholicism, worship of the African saints and the African God. Now Christianity changed everything around to trick it up because they kept now the African gods and that stuff to do magic with on us, which is the elite Hollywood, all that stuff, politician stuff. That's the African stuff, the black stuff. What we got is the white stuff. We live the white stuff, the fake stuff. We believe in Christianity, Santa Claus, and God and all this stuff, while they use it, how they use it, the magic. That was here first. All right, just so when you wanted you to give you a brief history of that so you understand what's going on, because media plays so much on your minds that you lose it, and that's the same as magic. You understand what I'm saying? Everybody who's destined to be someplace is going to be where they're supposed to be, regardless of this coronavirus or that. You're going to be where you got to be. So the thing is to accept life and be happy. Live in the moment. Don't start getting carried away by you seeing what's on TV and start doing strange things that will make you sick. Okay? A lot of y'all are set to evolve. There's going to be a rough summer. It's going to be a lot of earthquakes. I'm putting y'all on. And so be prepared. What it's all going to do is just to activate your kundalini. All this is just to shake up your biochemistry to get you into a certain whatever you're going to be. I can't tell you what the Aquarian age going to make you, but you're changing. With the demiurge, back to the demiurge. So back to that now. I was saying Serapis is the demiurge of this one. Jesus, Zeus, Dios, also called Bacchus. His name is also Mithra. One person got a million names. Okay, I'm telling you, it's one person. What is it an invention of? Is these people who was from Ethiopia called the Thebans. The Thebans made us up. This is way before Egypt. This is closer more after the Hyperborean period. The Thebans had the highest connection to God, not God. You understand? Nobody got that yet. Nobody understand that. But they figured out and got up in ascension to the world soul. They connected to the world soul. The world soul now has been defined as Jesus. All these other names that we hear. Moses is the one who actually made up the whole system under the Jews. The story of them with that in Judaism, they was practicing the same African art that the Egyptians practiced. And so the Jews now, which is Lower Egypt, all Hebrew, wanted to make up their own sect. This is what happened. It was mysticism until when Herod, Caesar, all of these people took over Egypt, and now Israelites or the people of Judea had to give up a system where they Hellenized, where they put together the original Jews with the Romans who don't believe in that stuff. So they couldn't understand Jewish mysticism and it was being banned. So they went underground and invented Judaism. Judaism became a commercial version of Christianity with hidden mysticism in there, or the magic of the Africans. And so now, even the Jews later on believed that their Jewish stuff was Judaism. They lost that fact that of the Zohar and of the Talmud would teach you that it's magic and that it's actually African. Those books will teach you the breakdown. But then when you go into it now, they get translated into the Septuagint for the Latins, and then the one for the Greek became our version of it in English and Hebrew. So we actually don't have the truth. We don't have it in the sense of how it is. We got it watered down. So the actual truth come from the Thebans of the world soul, and it became known as God. This is where Moses now takes supposedly the people of Israel to the lost land, the promised land. Just put it like this, it's so real that that's what you follow today. I don't care if you believe in God, you're following that. Because God is not God. God is the world soul. Nobody defined that part yet of God. So Moses came with God and said, this is God. Nobody draw an image of him. His first image was a bush, a burning bush. That was the symbol for God because he didn't want everybody to know they stole it from the Thebans. The Thebans gave it to them. This book by a lot of French authors who was alive at the time. This is people who was in Egypt during this type of when this what we call uprising was going on, and was questioning why is he coming up with his own stuff and he stole it from the Theban. So now you understand what we got is a world soul that we all is connected to. You can't look at this Jesus thing like you're looking at it, and understand there is a world soul and you have to connect to it. I don't give a fuck if you want to call it Zachariah or motherfucking Oluwala. That's still there and you're a piece of it, like a drop out of it. So you connect back to it to connect to something higher that still nobody haven't gotten that level yet until y'all do it. Y'all gonna have to take it to the next level. It's the next gen that goes up past the world soul. The world soul is what they're calling God now. It's not the God yet. We haven't done it yet. We haven't evolved that far. It's up to these generations. These kids is going to be the one to do it. So I'm just giving you a general definition of where Judaism come from and where these concepts that we use today that bridge everything take you away from your ascension and what you're supposed to do. So this will put you back in line and realize that's just an off branch of what the Thebans did. You could study on that. I think there's a few books you could read on it. If I could remember, I'll run it back. But you just get the basic overview. And he was called Jupiter, and Jupiter just means Jupiter. It's two words, you and Pitter. Pitter means father. This is where y'all get it twisted because y'all think it's the planet I'm talking about. No, I'm talking about Y-O-U and P-I-T-E-R. Pitta meant father, you means I. So all it says is I am the father. That's what Jupiter means. Jupiter means. You understand? That's when the Greeks and the Romans switched it up to Jupiter. That's why you got Peter is called Peter, which is the father, which became in Roman and Greek, Pitta means open now. They made him the opener, the portal opener. That's why he's called a Peter, the rock. That's why that rock is in Mecca. It's a portal, they say. You understand what's going on? With Mecca being the second part of the first stage of a three-part stage that they're putting together with first it was Buddhism back in the Sanskrit days. Then they twisted up and had the second part of it with Christianity. To follow up Christianity and make Christianity real, Islam took over, but they made Islam look like it came first just to make Christianity solidify. So you got to understand the great trick that's being played here, what's going on. I hope this makes any sense to y'all. All right. So now that you understand something that is fishy here, something ain't right here. Nobody's punishing anybody. It's just that we don't understand what we're supposed to do and how the system works. All right, let's end off with explaining light and how light works. All right, light and empathism. Your magnetic field will be the silver light right here. This is what a magnetic field is. This is a magnetic field. You're looking for this. Now, in this magnetic field, you see what happens to when it hits my skin. It makes white. These is called Obatala or God of the White. These now you would do meditations into to actually bring them to life, to make things start animating. So magnetic fields is your first levels of going into the parallel world, to understanding the parallel world. If you've never seen a magnetic field before, this is your first visual identification of a magnetic field. Stare at a person's body, but don't stare directly at them. Do it like off a peripheral look, and you will see this white thing come around their body, thin, very thin. Look for this, very thin around them, this little white streak right here. Once you can see this little white streak, you're attached to the person magnetic field. It shouldn't be no bigger than if you could see my headphone space right here. This comes up around the body. Sometimes when you're staring, it only will come up here. It will come up on half of the body. And sometimes you can see it around the whole body. It's not the big egg shit that, don't get it twisted. It's skinny. Like I said, don't think it in about the headphones distance between here and here. You just see a flickering off the body, or you see a double image sometime, or an obtuse image afterwards going around the whole body. That's the magnetic field, and you focus in there for healing, for Reiki, for whatever you're doing. So I'm just giving you a visual view of what a magnetic field is. And when you're doing your meditations, you do it the same way. You will want to capture light into your eyes and make it a glare like this. Make it glare into your eyes like this. So you're eating light. This is called eating light, feeding yourself magnetics, which is what your spirit, your soul, and everything feed off of. It don't feed off of anything but light. So I just want you to understand that. All right, so pretty much, let me just end this off with this last pictures to let y'all see the ancestors. And I'm not making this up, so you get an idea. 1 second, hold on. Let me see. There we go. I was doing these. All right. You see, this is bugged out. This came out, right? You see this? Let's do these for a quick minute. What do you see here? This is what the psychologist will show you, right? And now, like for me, let's say you see an eye right here or whatever, some type of nose or face or whatever, you see some type of being. This is what your basic Egyptian would have been seeing when they look. They look into the cloud, they see the same thing. Some people might see like a person inside it. They go, oh, it's a person in here. This is how you would see, or how Egyptians saw the forces of nature. Like, say, for instance, this, whatever this is, right? They would see what's inside of here. Some people see maybe, somebody grabbing somebody with a mouth open or whatever the case may be. These is where you would take your spiritual eyes to see beyond the normal, to see and to read information. This way it might look like you see one eye here, a nose, face, it look like a body of something, of a creature or something. So they would see these type of creatures, these things, and actually draw them, and this is what we would see and say these as being. So this right here is not let me see, what do I do with the orbs or of different colors I keep seeing? All right, Mike, let me help you out with that. If you're seeing orbs of different colors, Mike, what you need to do is actually stay still, right? When you move your eyes around, say I move left, right, whatever, the orb is gonna move away. Orbs only could be seen through the white part of your eyes. The white part of your eyes, it catches things beyond the speed of light, while the black part of your eyes only see things lower than the speed of light. So once you catch an orb, the first thing to do is freeze. Don't move. If you move, you're gonna lose the frequency of where it's at. The angle it's coming from is always at a right angle, 45-degree angle. It's not like you think. You could see it, think it's coming this way, but it's not, because it's only hitting either white sides of your eyes. So the first thing you do is freeze. When you freeze and don't move, your soul now is going to take over. You understand? You and your soul cannot move at the same time. You and your soul is a different being. So once you freeze, you're going to see the orb now with your peripheral vision. So even if it's over here, you're still looking like this, but you're looking at the orb. So now once you start looking at the orb and you get to be one with the orb, seeing it, observing it, because now you're not moving, because if you move, it start an algorithm that's opposite to what you're going to be doing. So once you just start now, your mind comes into it, your third eye comes into it, and you get what's called a magnetic buildup start occurring. Like, you're going to see magnetic lines are starting to build now, your energy. You're starting to stay still. It takes all your muscles. It's like something like this is going on because you're staying still, but it's outside of you doing this now, not inside of you. So once you do that, the orb now will start coming around to the front slowly, coming around to the front. And once it do that, then you can lock in on it. Not saying look at it. You still don't change your peripheral view. It's like you bungeeing from one cord to the other slowly. As soon as this cord is going, you grab the other one slowly. You can't just take your vision from that peripheral and look now at it. That's gonna throw everything off. You still gotta just, it's like taking your finger. If you take your finger and put it right in front of your face, right, and look at your finger so close that you see two fingers, or you see your ethereal hand too. That's what the other one is, your ethereal hand, right? Now, if you stay there for a while, the quickest way to do it is just move it back a little. You will see now, all of a sudden your finger become one, and you get to see your finger. But if you move it in closer, it becomes two and out of sync. All right, well, if you stay there out of sync for a minute, it's going to come together and phase back together. That's the same thing. When you look peripheral, it's going to come around, and then all of a sudden the orb is going to phase on something, pop, and it's going to be in front of you, and you're going to see not from peripheral without moving your eyes. Your eyes is going to focus now to the front. When you do, it's like you're holding it with your eyes, or in a magnetic field or whatever. So from here on now, it's going to start a spiral spin, and it starts spinning spirally. While it's spinning spirally, that's like you get chakras start coming out, which will be a vortex. First a vortex, but the center of it, a little light, very flint light, very small. But if you could look into the light, it's going to open up and start opening up as the outside of it is swirling, and you will see this as very obtuse shades of the same thing. You have to be able to see energy. Look very carefully. The easiest way to do this is spend time, a lot of time in the dark and a lot of time in the sun. Those two will give you the in-between vision. So once you're able to see now and open up the filament, it start opening up to be like a screen, a world, and that's it. You're looking into the parallel once you open up the orb. It's the lily flower. It's the whole chakra thing that they're talking about. With it spinning, you're spinning your chakra now. While it's spinning, it's like, all right, this is spinning. You see, my nose will be the filament. When it's pretty open, you would now be going through the light right here. While this is actually a vortex spinning, you're going through this. You'll see all of this, but go through this. Focus here. And this is going to turn now to this. Then when you go through here, it's going to turn to someplace else. And you keep going, keep going, keep going. Just keep going. Just keep going. And you're going to see everything just start opening up. Everyone open up a new one. So you're just going like this all the way through each one. And each one open up a new world. But the thing is, if you look at the world, how beautiful it is and everything, you lose everything. And you have to start the whole process over. You understand? So try that technique and let me know how it works for you. And then the different colors now, you will get the different colors. And it's an identifier for you, because you're only going to get the 7 colors, the 7 colors of the chakras. You ain't going to get out of no other color out of those colors. So it tells you what part of your body of the chakra you're in. If you're in, you know, the red zone, you're in your Muladhara chakra. If you're in the yellow zone, you're in the next chakra all the way up. If you see them blue, your throat, you know, purple. If you got to see a purple one, aura. Purple, pink, and indigo is up here. All this is purple, pink, and indigo. From here, you get in your blues and your greens and your oranges towards your heart. So you will see where you're floating at in yourself, because you become this subatomic particle. The orb is your true self. And so you will want to unite with that light. So you'll see it. It's wild. It's crazy. Get it together, your energy together to hold it with this. This is going to hold it. Your third eye. Like I said, focus now. Stop moving. Then slowly as you do this, you'll slowly come around. You'll slowly come to itself. You just stay like that. Everything will turn like a haze, this color. You see smoky. Everything gets smoky. Once you do that, you start and you know. You could do that with just basic sun. Stare at the sun for a little while. Then close your eyes real quick and watch that little sun that you see now, you took a picture of. And watch how it changes colors. It drop down. It's going to drop down and keep changing color. It gets darker as it goes down. Just keep watching as it goes down. Keep watching. It's going to go down. You keep doing that. You have light inside. When you close your eyes, you're going to be like, oh my God, I see these little flickering things and lights. So, you know, that's available to you. All right. Keep your wits about you. Disclosure 1 is available for download. The forbidden knowledge. Thanks, knowledge. That's what's going on. Carlton Rand, thank you for coming in. Peace and love, Raven. Thank you, and welcome back. You know, I was gone for a little while, going through some meditations and learning some initiation. Mike, you welcome. You know, there's so much to disclose. What's going on the Arden Chrome? What's the Arden Chrome, Cam? Come at me again. Let me get that right. Yes, sun gazing. You know, right now the frequency of the sun is so powerful. It does a lot for you right now. It actually could align you to this Aquarian age. I can't align you. I got to feed you information to give you the mind, the knowledge, the philosophy, the way to think, the belief. But you have to align your body. Only the sun could align your body. I can't do that. Nobody can do that. You know, so, oh shit, I took these off. And so if you don't go out into the sun, you won't understand what I'm saying, to stay still in the magnetic lines. You'll see them. They start fluttering like this. you'll see them start coming across, just going across your eyesight as you stare into the sun. Some of y'all will see ovals, circles, and circles that form a cone. Don't look at the sun like you're looking at it. You're looking at the sun wrong. You want to look at the sun that is circles upon circles upon circles upon circles till it come to your eye and get bigger as each circle get bigger to the sun. When you see it like that, you're looking at chakras. You're aligning chakras. You understand? With this, you do this thing called mitosis. More circles is going to come floaters in your eyes, and you're going to take the circles and push them to the center of the sun. Push all the floaters in your eyes to the center of the sun. You're going to see them pop and get bigger. They're going to get bigger, bigger like that. And you're going to have targets now. When you have those, you Egyptian now. You one of us. I gave it to you for free. Disclosure. People pay money for that. You understand? For real talk, real talk. This is mysticism, but it seems like we're going to be in trouble if we don't know this information, and I don't want to see. I think it's time for our nation to rise, so we might just need this. Maybe I could help y'all, that's the truth. That's something we have to all practice, but nobody don't know it. It's ancient and it's real. We're going back to the beginning, so the ancient ones have to teach now, and it's only those that know this information could do it. And, there's so much to it. You're going to see yourself repulsed by some of the older ones that with their old ways of living. Everything they're doing is wrong. And that's why nature's attacking them. Y'all is the new. Follow your intuition. Follow not what your family taught you. And I'm not saying in a disrespectful way. I'm saying individualize yourself. Think as an individual. Think as far as sovereign. Think as far as your freedom. Think as far as not tying yourself into something out of desire, out of self insecurities or feeling insignificant or trying to prove something. Think before you do anything. And you will see that more than likely your self will put you in a position to fix it instead of just conforming to it. You understand? This is what the new is going to do to the old. We got to help them. We can't let them die. Teach them what they're doing wrong. All them fried foods, all them rice and beans, cut all that stuff out, man. Teach them fast and teach them to get outside and get some sun. Put them in a positive place. It's nothing negative. Nothing can hurt you unless you believe it. Placebo science, remember that. They're playing placebo advertisement on us right now. If we believe it, it's going to work. It's going to work, Why? Because we don't have the right foods in our body. This is the foods. Remember, right now, ain't no chemtrail being sprayed over the United States. You understand? No chemtrail right now. You know that, right? You know what the chemtrail was. And I don't want to get into my government. I love them. But you already know. No chemtrail is being sprayed right now, right? Pay attention. That's all I'm going to say. All right. So I think, I would say this. YouTube changed the laws. So we can't go hard. Like even when I'm talking, I'm thinking what I'm saying because we can't be our ancestral self like we used to be. Everything is being censored now. I don't want these videos taken down. So I stick around and see what I miss and try to innovate it in a cool way. But it's more, we're going to have to find another platform soon to get into the real truth of life in because truth is going to be soon censored, and just society view and what's good. And they don't care if everybody is dead. They're going to die believing it's good and morals. But us as indigenous people, we conform to nature. And nature have a course of evolution for everybody. And you today might not know who you are tomorrow, like a seed don't know it's going to be an oak tree one day. And the seed see the oak tree and say, that's not me. No, we two separate things. The seed and the tree look like two different things. So you're the seed. You didn't see the tree yet. You're going to be the tree. Give yourself some time. So stay young. Don't think old. There's no such thing as old. If you do believe that, you will be that. You understand? And don't think negative. Think only what you want to bring into this world and bring it. That's how this thing is going to work now. Let me help you out. Remember what I just said. I'm up there. Bro. I run, I jump, I flip, I do tucks, I do it all. When I tell you I do it all, I do it all. So I can't even put myself in the old category. I'm right with y'all doing everything y'all do. So young, stay young. Middle age, stay young. old people, get young. I'm telling you now, it's the only way. You see nature talking about, oh, this disease for old people. There's no such thing as old people. You make yourself old. You did it to yourself. Why they saying old people? Remember, they're prone to diseases because they have no white matter more. Their white matter is gone. That makes you prone to these corona stuff. So what you have to do is stay young. Hang around young people. Be with young people. Don't give a fuck no more. Just be free. That will preserve your youth. That's what you do. And that's my message to the older people. Let go of those Braxton ways and that bougie way and Democratic way and Republican way and go enjoy nature and live. Be happy. If you do, and if you don't listen, you worry about your business, your income and all that, you're gonna die. It's targeting those type of people. I myself was called to help people that was dying. One lady, she owned a store. She died, man. She died from cancer. And I tried my best to help her. And my message to her was, forget about the business, man. You're going to die. And regardless, she couldn't leave the business alone until she died. Same thing, another lady that we was both trying to help her because she owned a produce store. And she's giving me all the juices I'm making, all the different blends, bringing it to her, doing Reikis and putting my chain on her. And she lied to me and never told me she had the cancer. She was hoping for hope that something could save her, and it didn't. She passed away. Now, the same thing, the lady who was a produce lady worked too hard and chasing money, got sick, and she drinking all the health drinks in the world, and it's not doing nothing for her. And I'm telling her the same thing. Stop thinking about your money. Stop thinking about work. She's asking, who could stay here, run it for me? And I was like, you need to just leave that shit alone and go get yourself together. Same thing happened. So I'm telling y'all what the ancestors want. Don't worry about no finances. All that is not going to be your issue. Your issue is your health and your mental state. And then second of all, yes, you will, Troy. Troy won for the Chosen Kings, man. Thank you for tuning in. Yes, you will learn. Everything is over time. I'm not here to, say something that you're not going to go through. All these things over time, everybody is going to experience. This is not here to hurt you. If you do the research, you could Google and see coronavirus is a evolution thing. It's more an evolution than a pandemic. They're not telling you this. It's evolving in your DNA. So you will see that everything that I'm saying is right. And the older people are at fault, and they are wrong for the way they live, for actually believing in whoever was telling them this information, whoever told them that was good food, whoever told them that was the right way to live. In the Bible alone, who was these Christians of the old now, it say, if you never been married, don't get married. So how you was born not married, how the fuck you get married? I don't understand that. Because it's trying to tell you to save your energies so you could evolve like a tree from the seed to the tree. But if you marry, you're sharing energies. You can't evolve. Your energy is constantly being dissipated. If you constantly having sex, you die for 3 days when you come in a man. So how many times you gonna die before you get to be you? You're gonna live a life of death. You're not in your body. Your essence is wasted in your semen. But we don't understand that we cohabitate with a woman who don't lose nothing in her cum. She only loses it when she's on her period. And so she give it to the guys. It's being fed to the guys unless it's a semen that actually cuts through and penetrate the egg and impregnate it. Then she's on her way to losing her energy to her child. But until then, the odds, we don't understand what happened to us when we engage in these relationships. We're actually killing ourselves and the other person. We actually do what's called empathic blending and become one. When we blend in empathically, then we lose our individuality and we fight with each other. And we think we're fighting over petty shit like the toilet paper. But no, you're really fighting because you want to be alone so you could be an individual again. It's actually a design in the Matrix program to make a parent and a child fight so the child could assume his God self and his individuality. So eventually when she done deboed him long enough his whole life, he's going to buck on her and step out and be a man. Same thing, or a woman. It's only the course of nature. But don't think you hate your parent inside your head. You didn't do that. That's designed like that. Read just basic of Kundalini biology or just psychology of C.J. Jung. He breaks all that down in your archetypes and why we do the things we do. So I just want you to understand you are a God. You just don't know how what a God is and how a God works. You got a superficial belief of it like Spider-Man or Batman, or you got powers. It don't work like nothing like that. This is very subtle energy, and the subtle effects is the way this government and everything is operating around you. You don't see the effects of the New World Order, but you're living in it. So you got to understand what's going on here, and you slow it down now. Don't think so superficially, and you will see everything. You understand? It's the way they bombard the media with TV. They make it so superficial. We actually looking for something big to happen when it's been happening since 2012, very small. So I don't know. I'm gonna work on trying to make y'all see it how it's supposed to be seen, because it saved my life. And if you planning to want to survive this whole game with these politicians playing out roles on us with these silly upgrades that we're gonna be going through from now, from 2020 to 2027, you understand, or 2026, it's in six. So you're gonna be going through a lot, but it's an upgrade, you understand. So I just don't want you to get caught up in it, and I try to bring you all the information I can to sustain us as we go through these scares, these things that is trying to stop us from being gods and keep us servants under the government. Illuminati is over. This is their last stand. Whatever they could use, they're going to use it. You're free now. All of us is free. We finished the 12. We're in a new 12. Those that was suffering. I want to let y'all know this too so you understand. As far as people being poor and poverty and suffering, we got to remember, anybody who was once great, a king, anybody, let's use, somebody that was one of the highest, they always later on go through the worst situation. They die, they suffer. Look at Jesus. Look at anybody's great story. The nature do that. That's not actually something that was demise or something that was done out of his fate. In society of this world, if you start off big, you're going to end small. If you start off small, you're going to end big. So people of African descent, people who built Egypt, Babylon, who was black, have to suffer now. They lived their epitome. They're completing a soul cycle, the same good and bad. So their empire rose, and now it's time for them to humble themselves and learn to live without those things. But they're the winners. The ones who got the power now and the rulers is going to be the sufferers now. It's going to switch. You got to understand, and those who were suffering is going back again. But it's just going to go like this. This is all it's going to do, because that's the natural flow. If you ever look, you would not want to be great. If you're going to be great, you're going to be terrible when you get old. You're going to suffer. Like people who have Alzheimer's and osteoporosis and all these things, they was great in their time. But now it switches. So you don't want to be too rushing into being great. Let it just come naturally so you don't suffer at the end. But I just want people who's going through suffering to understand you was great and you're going back to being great. So don't take it wrong when you see what you're going through. You're going through that because you did great. If you don't know you did it in this lifetime, it's, I've been suffering my whole life. What are you saying? I never did nothing great. Well, you did it in your last lifetime, my friend. And this is where you at now. Just like the suffering of the Egyptian nation was from their greatness back then. They rocked until their empire got taken out. Same thing go for everybody in this world. If you rocking job-wise, girl-wise, kid, you're going to wind up having to pay the penalties. This is how the soul work. It's not for the physical only to experience. You have to have the soul experience too, which is more not physical things, not money, not sexual. It's more suffering because it brings out the soul in you, the creator in you. So understand these things. You understand? All right, speaking of that creator, just last thing, remember we spoke about the demiurge. So you understand the demiurge, the world soul, the world soul is also the demiurge in you. It's layers inside yourself that make you what we call the ego. The ego is your demiurge. You believe in it. That's why ego is the gotia. The 72 demons of Solomon is inside your subconscious mind with it being locked in as a canister. Your body is the temple of Solomon. And so you have to unlock your canister to bring out your goatees, your egos that's going to protect you, all 72 of them. You understand? And so with that now, you're the demiurge when you're in your ego because you block yourself from higher ascension. You block yourself from the truth. There's only truth. And that's why he said, I'm the light, I'm the truth. He didn't say morals of good and bad. That's where we fuck up at because we more about good and bad and morals than we are about truth. If you tell the truth, you'll know your truth. And if you know your truth, you know the next person's truth. But as long as you can't tell your truth, you could only see lies because you're telling a lie. All right? I hope you understand that so you get to understand you are the demiurge. And first conquering of the demiurge is conquering of yourself, your insecurities, your superstitiousness, your ignorance, and learn, read books, the greatest workout. Once you got all that down pat, you're not the demiurge no more. That's what it teaches you now in Gnostic teachings. That's why they seek enlightenment, knowledge, gnosis. Gnosis defeat the demiurge in you, the demon in yourself, the things you want, the things you believe. You think you're going to be the hero. The word the hero come from our ego trying to think, I could save my family. You stay here, I'll do everything. No, everybody has to go through the same thing you're going through. You can't save nobody and you're denying them their right of passage by you doing that. If you domesticate a cat, he's still a wild cat and he has to go out and learn ways to survive. Now you put a domesticated cat into the wild, he's going to die. He's not a cat no more. You don't know what cats do. He was ready eating 9 lives and just sitting there chilling in the warm house like the pigeon Rio in the movie and all the other birds laughing at him. So you cannot domesticate yourself too much and not have the instinctive to know truth from lies. You have to understand these things. Just like you cannot block yourself off from germs because if you don't have no germs, you're subject to diseases. I stay away from extra clean people because they're going to make me sick. People who are clean make me sick. Why? They're subject to diseases. People who are unconscious make me fucked up. Why? They're under the influence of the stars. So if I have a great idea, they're going to oppose it. If I say this, they're going to oppose that. It's just them under the stars. That's why unconscious people is not good. Being too clean, you're subject to diseases. You stay away from them because they're too clean. So anything come around them, they're sick, and they're going to get you sick too. I just want you to understand what's going on. Anything else now? What about Ching and static type of realm? When the veil lift, then static vision hit. Didn't remember how I react lifetime before. See, I took a seat until the third came back. Chris Starr, yeah, Ching is definitely a energy, and Ching is very important. You know, the Ching energy. When we transfer from Chi energy to Ching energy, you talking. Let me see what part you're at. And when the veil life, then the static vision hit, didn't remember how I react lifetime before. All right, the vision now in the Ching, you see, it's a beautiful thing that you're able to not be afraid and enter the world of Ching. And, you know, it's higher. That's like the third chakra, and it changes at the second chakra. That's where it's chi, and when you in chi, it's higher than the underworld, the Muladhara chakra, the experiences of the gods and the demions. You know, when you get to chi, it's more of love and, you know, relationship. And Ching now is about health. It's actually health, but it don't take on a health. None of these first take on what I just said. So I want you to understand. When you're in Muladhara chakra, this is your root chakra. You're going to see the ugliest, scariest beings in the world. You're going to see entities, and it all got to do with you being horny and want to fuck and having sex and stuff like that, and what you believe. And you, consciousness is the primordial being in water. But it takes on that tone what I just said. Even seeing a giant serpent, Leviathan, or the turtle, this is what's bugged out. And it's an expression of an emotion, but in a thought form that you're submerged in and can't get out till you figure it out. And so you go from Mudalara to San Francisco, the second chakra. So you're in the second chakra now. All of a sudden, it's like you come out of the mouth of a serpent, and you're in a whole nother world. And this world now, it's like you on the moon or someplace, and it's different situations happening depending where you're going to. So how you equate this, like you're a virtual man in a virtual reality, to emotions. And so, you get credit for you being in the Ching, which is now the third chakra, right? This is deal with the energy as far as circulating through the organs. But for a person visualizing it, going through it, they're going through an experience, whether it be entities attacking them, or they're in a period of 1462 seeing stuff. And actually, they're in their organs. It's weird as hell because your organs is connected to each zodiac. Each zodiac controls the different organs. So it's through the organs that you go back to these planetary places to get your soul lessons, to get your chakras, your demions. Chakras are unlimited. There's no 7 chakras. You have 7 receptors. Receptors. You're not 7 chakras. 7 receptors that give you the ability to have unlimited chakras in different dimensions coming in, depending where you're tuning it. So say if you open your root chakra down here by your penis or whatever, your vagina, you could have a million different entities or sexual things coming through at that point. And you would be first, if it's blocked, you'll be more wanting to have sex, dying to have sex. But once it's unblocked, you having sex and with nobody. You be sitting in the park and coming. Oh my God, what the hell is this? For a man, it feel like he took an E-pill. You just like, oh my God, what the fuck? Ecstasy. It's like you just feel good. And for the woman that feel these feelings, as she around her friend, she feels a pleasurable feeling. Same thing, a guy that have this, he feels a pleasurable feeling. So this is just the beginning of the opening of that chakra, the blockage and the unblockages. So now it's unblocked. This now become the land of opportunity. This is where your will come into now, where anything you want, you could get through the, not saying the law of attraction, but through the libido energy, the feminine energy. When you open up the root chakra, your first thing, it's uniting your feminine side and your masculine side to make the chakra, the circle, the open, the yin and yang. And so with it, it's you could say you opened, but you're not open because now you got distinctive parts to go in it. So when you have the root open and you not blocked, not sexually crazy or wanting sex, you're now cool and you feeling sex, you're good. You start wanting a job. All of a sudden you get a job. You wanted to be a singer. All of a sudden you're a singer. You want anything you want to do. The libido energy give you that ability to manifest your reality after that root chakra is open. This is where it gets dangerous because a lot of people have fucked up desires and put themselves in situations and it's stuck. The root chakras don't stick. They don't do something repetitively. Chakras always changing like a new day, like a new hour, like a new minute. So they repeat something for your chakras is going to demonize you. It's going to make you love cookies so much you're going to keep going to the store every day to buy the cookies. Go to the store every day to buy the cookies. Even when you're not hungry, even when you're 500 pounds, you have to break cycles. No cycles could be involved in chakra work, chakra living, chakra this, because they become compulsive. It's a good feeling. So when you're doing chakra work, what you experience today, you don't experience tomorrow. Every experience is a new experience. People you deal with is only there for a time because after you deal with them, it's a healing between two people, or they're giving you spiritually a gift or giving you something. And once that's done, you keep going, you keep going, you keep going. It's a forever process. It's what's called enlightenment. So I just want you to understand the root chakra and this, how powerful it is. And a woman, once her root chakra open, she has the power to control most men's. All, I think all women root chakra is open. That's why they come in the room and control the room. Sexy, affirmative, with that stance, They control the room. And they get the best deals. They can make a negotiation that a person drop the price because they know how to use the libido sexual energy. It's not how we think just because she's form and she's woman. That's what make her sexy. No, you got two same forms in the room. One you don't pay attention to, and the other one got your attention so strong you're ready to give everything up and sign the paper. So you got to realize how the libido energy work in women. And woman, you have to learn how to use the libido energy to accomplish your immediate goals of what you need without engaging in any type of sexual perversion or even promiscuous talk. It's actually an energy force you push out without. How much is that? Oh, okay. Uh, all right, thank you. But the energy was pushed out prior to with the intention. So this is how it works. And I just bring it to your attention because a lot of us do it unconsciously, and you need to bring it into consciousness. Plus, you're accounted for what you're doing in the spirit world. They know all of this. And, I hope you understand what you're doing now, too, and the power of libido energy, the power of the root chakra. It's the cause of a lot of bullshit going on. It's a lot of happiness being chased behind it. And that's because the person activated seeking happiness. The person wasn't activated under normal circumstances. The circumstances you're involved in is going to make your chakra, make you that person. So if you evil, you're a fucked up person and your chakra open, you're going to be 20 times as evil and fucked up. It ain't going to make you divine. If you're a scheming ass person, you're going to be 20 times more scheming. It just enhances who you are. If that's who you are, that's who you are. That's why it says you're going into the underworld to be judged. The weighing of the feather, the weighing of your heart. It's not to change you. It's to tell you who you are, who your nature is. Out of the many billions of spirits, many billions of color and dimension, you belong to one of them. Which one do you belong to? They show you. The weighing of the heart, you go here, you go here, you go here, you go there, you go there, you go there. No two persons from the same place. This is what Anubis is doing. Everybody is showing him what they are. Believe it or not, you're showing him what you are. All he do is watch your nature. Study your nature. You got a repetitive cycle to you. You do it all the time. You can say sorry a million times. You're going to do it again and again and again. That's your nature. You go there. It's that simple. No talking is involved. Just watch you. Scare you a little bit. Make you think whatever you want to think. And it shows the true you. That's all they do. So when you open up the root chakra and you're in the underworld, don't think it's a simple thing. Don't think you're not being judged. You are being judged. You just don't know how you're being judged. All right, I'm putting you on. If you did it right, you become the high priestess and move up. You move up in ranks. You keep moving up. Heart chakra. When you get to the heart chakra, it's a whole nother thing you start learning. But first chakra, the root chakra, the second chakra, and the third chakra, call it money, power, and respect. Just in those order, with sex and money. When your root chakra open, you first want sex. With sex, you're going to want money. And I'm talking about from 15 to 16 years old. You want sex. Then you want a job. After you get a job, you want a woman. Now you want a house and a family. Money, power, respect. When the heart chakra open, no more money, power, respect. You want knowledge. When your heart chakra open, you want knowledge. After you get knowledge, the throat chakra open. Now you're ready to talk. Now you're somebody. Now your I am come. From the heart, that's where your God coming at. Your I am is your struggle right here. For the rest, most people don't get to the heart chakra because then they would have found the true God, not the one in the Bible, the true God, their God. And then from there, Your mouth is gonna make you like Jesus. You're gonna go against society and everybody. This is gonna open up the throat chakra. Now got your mouth saying things that get you in trouble because it's telling the truth. That's when the throat chakra open. From there, you get what's called the diaph gate, your way out. Just open the pineal gland as your entrance and exit of subatomic particles, subatomic beings, light beings, to go in and out. The crown, the top of the head, is how you get out the body at the end. Zeus, Jupiter, whatever you want to call him, going to crack this open and stick his hand down and pull you out. After you take a long trip down to your root chakra. You start off right up here in your consciousness, but it drops. You feel it. It drops to your stomach. Boom. You're now in your solar plexus. From there, you're going to ride down and go up your anus. That's what they call Jesus riding on the donkey, and go up the night side of the tree. And you're going to come up out your spine and come up out the back of your head. And that's when somebody, a God, is going to be there and take you out. It's the only way out. It's the oldest story in the book. It's the story of the Egyptian Book of the Dead, the Tibetan Book of the Dead, the Balera. Everybody. If you don't know this, they're using you in just a recycle reincarnation thing through the moon, and you're here just doing the bit and the dumb and enjoying pleasures, no learning disattachments, not learning your soul missions, not learning how to heal, not learning how to leave your mark, not learning that you alone control the whole ascension of your nation. You're not just one person, you're a genetic strand that is a whole nation with you. Once you ascend, your nation ascend too. So you the reason why your nation don't ascend. Everyone here, I'm telling you, as is you're the reason why your nation has not ascended, because you have not ascended. Once you ascend, your nation ascend. It's called the covenant or the ark. That's why you see they said the ark went from here to over here. These people was the power. Then whoever had it was the ruling people. It goes from it's still the same thing. Ain't nothing changed. So we have group ascension to do, group meditation to do, but everybody first have to be of one mind. And that's lose your mind. Your mind is educated by Europeans. The one mind is the mind of God, the universal consciousness that we read in the book, that everybody tap in, that they saw the same thing, knew the same thing. I didn't have to tell you. You knew already. You understand what I'm saying? We all get the same memos, same downloads. But we have to get it back to that, because everybody lost their faith. They believe this. I believe this. Well, I believe this. I believe that. Yo, well. So, people like that I stay away from. I don't do beliefs. I know or you don't know. That's it. I don't know. Say that. And then I tell you what I know. I don't talk about things I don't know. You don't hear me talking about Trump and what he's doing and all that, because I don't know. And I'm not going to pretend. And we need to be like that to rise as a nation. Don't be superficial and start saying things to please your ego, because you're festering a demon inside yourself, or the demiurge. All right? I guess that's it for now. This is almost 2 hours of just talk. I didn't know it was going to go into this long, but I'm glad to see everybody's tuning in. And I'm back to doing it daily. I hope y'all enjoy it. Thank y'all for tuning in. Chris Starr, that's what it is. Thank you. Troy, one of the chosen, King Melanin. Yes, we're going to have to organize. What I want to do is try to make this a organization so we could teach the future and have it as a doctrine, make up words for all this stuff, because it is a way of life. And y'all interested in the right way, the high priest way. We're learning this. You're going to learn the invisible part of it. This still hasn't been revealed, because we look at the basic priest as the one who lied and deceived society. Yes, because they was physician. They knew doctor stuff when there was no such thing as doctors, because angels taught it to them. Well, that's what a high priest is. You got taught by angels. They're still here. Essenes was the name. Not these modern Essenes. None of these people, not even these modern Buddhists is Buddhists. None of these people is real. We're the real ones. But you need hope. You need God. In the Bible, they call me the comforter. This is the one Jesus said is going to come and make understanding of what he's trying to say. It's called the comforter. Look it up. I'm the comforter to help y'all become who y'all supposed to be. And it seems like we can't do it individually. You have to organize. So y'all organize now. and know y'all constitution. I'm giving y'all the laws. You know, you can't let people just come around. You can't let people just touch. You can't do this. Why? Y'all got powers and abilities. But you have to do alchemy for a little while to make it come into fruition. From there, you will see, you'll see, you'll see. And then y'all could take the doctrine to another level. But first, start off with the basics. You understand what I'm saying? So take this information, look it up, read up on it, study it, but understand who you are and what they're against and trying to stop, and then isolate yourself and hide and put y'all stuff together, because black information is still sacred and high priest information is more sacred. And for y'all to do that, it can't be on YouTube. All right, so enjoy y'all night, and I love y'all, and we have another talk soon. All right, one love. You hear?